Welcome to Coding After Work.
It's time again.
It is.
And I know you know, but I just gotta tell you as well. The intro music with the CODI is actually from a ZX Spectrum, or actually it is from the Cura microspeech on the ZX Spectrum. So when I was a child, I basically what's happening with the ZX Spectrum is that everything on the keyboard is a command. So like J, for example, is load. So when you type something on the keyboard with this Cura microspeech, it would say load. That's the first time you press J. The second time you press J, it's just going to say J. So I was like, load, J-I-M-M-Y. And I was typing this out so many times. I made the computer talk.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And it's like 400 years ago.
I wouldn't say 400 years ago.
Okay, drop a zero. Oh, thank you. Catchy intro. Flashover says. There you go. Thank you. Now you know where it comes from.
When we are, when
Look
we
at
have,
this. It might actually be working this time.
Oh, nice.
It works.
You're so jinxing
Oh yeah, I
it.
jinxed it.
When we're doing, when we have guests on the show, we can see them while we are preparing and playing the intro music, and we can see, yeah, this is.
Yeah, we have sort of a green room
Yeah,
when we have that set up, and that's pretty funny. People are digging it.
And they can't see me doing the same thing, of course. But
I can.
C O.
No.
No. Okay.
Okay, what are we doing today?
So, for today, I have prepared some things.
You have?
I have. Because I just wanted to see if everything worked and stuff like that, but we're going to do it live and see if
we can make it work?
Yeah.
Again.
Exactly. So let's pop over to my computer for a second, and we're just going to first say huge thank you to Progress Telerik, which we, if time permits, we will actually implement one of their controls, the map control, which is going to be a lot of fun, I think.
Hey, Thindal! And now the chat feature doesn't work anymore. I did jinx it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Progress Telerik has amazing Blazor controls, which we will see in a bit, I guess. So if you are using Blazor, you should definitely check that out.
Oh, it's back to working. It's like every other message.
Maybe it was just a smiley. Maybe that's filtered
maybe
out.
that's,
They shouldn't filter that out.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't make the rules.
So
and it's free, so who am I to complain?
So when we left things last week, it looked something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I have done nothing to change that.
No?
Not like
because
last
we
week.
have said we put a pin in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, Thindal.
Whoop whoop.
So if we go into our speaker page, you'll see that it says no results, or it actually doesn't. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Oh, that's a bit too much. Okay, so let's. Oh, thank you, Thindal.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I heard you just withdrew your first Twitch money. Yeah, let's not talk about how much that was or how little.
No,
it was just the limit. What is the limit?
50.
$50? Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're super happy. At least that must mean that we make some difference because people come back.
So if we pop into our speaker page, you'll see that it says. No, it doesn't. Let me reload the page here.
It should say something.
Yeah, it will. No results, so that's bad. And it doesn't say that it's actually working on anything. And it's just, here's all the data.
Yeah.
Right. So there are two reasons for this. One is that we're getting all the conferences that has open call for paper, all of them. So that's like almost 300 conferences.
Yeah.
That's number one. And the number two is that we are number two is that we are not.
You did not.
Is that we don't have a progress bar or anything like that. Now I know that you are a teacher.
I am.
And you talk a lot about UX.
I do.
And
it's a pet peeve of mine.
And I think that you have some awesome information when it comes to progress bars.
I do have some information. Should we switch the... is it this one?
Yes.
Yay! We have purple background now for a while. Show me how to load as things come in. Yes, that is a good one. Because we're probably all guilty of being rage quitters, or at least loud sighers when things doesn't load as we want them to. And we can actually prevent that. At least we can try. So one of the things that are very effective is that we need to provide a confirmation within 100 milliseconds from the user activation. So basically, if the user presses a button, it should look pressed. It doesn't have to be, don't have to be done with the whole page or whatever execution. What was that? Execution during these 100 milliseconds, because that's not a long time.
Yeah.
But as long as you show that you're working on it, the user will actually feel that it happens in real time.
Yeah.
Because that's usually what we say, that as humans we perceive, we start noticing that time has passed around 100 milliseconds. It's true for most people, but there has been research in Finland, actually, across the pond, where they have gotten down to 75 milliseconds, but they were short distance runners, and they were expecting it, and there was a lot of other things. So we're still going by.
So we're kind of talking about athletes and like race car
highly
drivers.
skilled. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They might be a little bit better, but for most of us, 100 milliseconds will feel instantaneously. For all the processes that the user perceives as easy to do, like zooming in or minimizing a window, stuff like that, we need to provide some type of response within 500 milliseconds. Because that's basically what we have. That's our patience level, most of us. No, but it will feel like, okay, what's happening? But if it's 500 milliseconds, it's just half a second. So that's pretty quick. But again, we don't have to be done with the zooming or whatever we're doing as long as we have started it. And we need to give some sort of continuous feedback for all the processes that take more than 1 second. And you can use the wheelie thing. I'm not a particular fan because there's reasons to that, but it's fine. Use something so we know that something is happening. And if they actually take more than 2 seconds, we need to add a real progress bar or a real progress indicator that keeps updating. So basically, if we're using a bar of sorts, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to show exactly how much you have loaded, as long as something is moving and actually happening. We usually laugh about the Windows Explorer when you're moving a lot of large files. It's like, this will take 5 weeks. And then 10 minutes later, you're done.
Yeah.
So again, it doesn't matter. Well, you shouldn't tell them it takes 2 weeks if it doesn't take 2 weeks, but...
That's how we make miracles happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, this is going to take 2 weeks. Oh, I'm done.
Yeah, for sure. Actually, the reason we say 1 second is there's been so much research, and one of the world's UX gurus, Jacob Nielsen, he states that we expect things to load in 1 second. That's our basically our attention span for stuff like that. So we basically only have a second to load. So if we have this progress indicator that is continuously moving, we also need to update that every 2 to 5 seconds. Preferably, I mean, the sooner the better. So keep changing something, write a text or whatever. And I think this awesome game, Dragon Mania Legends, they are doing it very, very good. Because it says dusting Academy Hall, sewing mini Vikings, testing portals, and stuff like that, which of course is nothing what they're actually doing. I think actually Sims was one of the first games that had that back in the day, like way back in the day. Because this will not only tell me as a user that the wheelie thing isn't hung, something is actually happening, and it will also be a little fun, at least in this example. And occupied wait is so much faster than unoccupied wait. We have done so much studies in that field as well.
Are you going to talk about an airport?
We can talk about an airport for sure. But it comes down to psychology. We have two ways of measuring time: the real like minutes and seconds of it, and then we have the psychological version of it. And if you have a passive wait or an active wait, that's also, it's such a difference. If you're in line with your friends going to see the latest movie, that wait, even if it's 10 minutes, will still feel very short compared to if you're in the grocery shop and you forgot your phone and you're stuck 10 minutes. Same 10 minutes, but it will feel like 4 hours.
Or if you find yourself in the restroom, you don't have your phone, and you're starting to read on shampoo bottles or
Yeah, for sure. That's you can do that as well.
3 times, okay.
I don't remember which airport it was.
I don't remember
which
either.
one?
I think it might have been Boston, but something with a B.
Something with a B. Okay, so a B, probably a B airport.
Yeah.
They actually they got so much complaints for wait times for their.
Can I just?
Yeah.
So Thindal says "Asapete," which is "do not cover," which is what it says on a lot of heaters. And for some reason we had a lot of those in the restroom or in the bathroom
in Sweden.
Yeah. So you kind of like you know very little Finnish, but you know that one.
Yes. Especially we had those, it was an electrical heater, so that's why you couldn't cover it.
Yeah.
And I think usually it was like in your what do you call it? Landställe. Your summer home and your summer homes and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what we did before mobile phones. That's how old we are. Thank you for reminding us, Thindal. But back to the airport. What they had was a gazillion complaints for wait times to get their luggage, which of course is not fun because you're tired, you want to go home or to your destination. So what they actually did was they rebuilt the whole airport flow. So you had to walk like, I don't know how long, but it's a long time, like 10 minutes just to get to that point.
They're basically parking all the planes the farthest way.
Yeah. And then you have to walk like a very long way to get to your luggage claim or baggage claim or whatever it's called. So what ended up happening was that people didn't complain about the luggage anymore.
Yeah. because once they actually got
Yeah.
there, oh, my luggage.
But that you can really feel that some airports you have to walk like 10, 15, 20 minutes to get to your luggage, even if it's a smaller-ish, not humongous airport.
Yeah.
And that's definitely psychological because it doesn't feel you're occupied by walking, so it doesn't feel as long. So we're as humans, we're very easy to push in one direction or the other. So it's good that we give the user something to do while they're waiting. And another thing we can do that, except for if we're not talking about progress indicators, we can preload things like Thindal talked about. Or we can preload placeholders. Like this is my phone. Let's see, does it click? Will it click? Yes. This is when my phone is loading all the applications I've ever had installed ever. I'm changing phones, so that's why. So it's kind of loading fake gray applications, which for me will still feel like something is happening, and the wait time will feel a little bit shorter because I got two waits that are probably longer than if they went there. You like Angry Birds? Well, I like the Dream Blast better.
I mean, it's like you're getting the progress bar, the progress indicator, but you're getting it in form of data.
Yeah.
So it feels like I'm not going to replace this progress indicator with the data.
No.
The progress is the data.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Then it just appears.
Exactly. I have two of them. I have two of the Angry Birds. Okay, so this is all the applications I've ever had installed ever on any of my Android phones. So I actually don't have Angry Birds 2 installed currently. I do have the Angry Birds Dream Blast though, but that's not an Angry Bird. It's like a match 3 game. So that's why half of this I don't even have anymore. But it's an easy way when you're changing phones. You can just go back in the history and mark all the apps you have. Next excuse. This isn't actually my phone. This is just an example. It is actually from my phone. I recorded it this afternoon. Slightly off topic is it's what we do here on stream, right? That's why we stream.
If we're on topic, then we should record a video or something. Well, we'll be doing that as well. Now, speaking of videos, if you're watching this on... No?
Sure. Do it.
You should definitely... No, we don't have that on this one.
Oh, it's because I'm on...
no.
I have the slides, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So imagine some cool YouTube animation and...
Yeah, so things that makes people perceive your application as slower is if you don't show any progress indicators.
Yeah.
If you don't tell them what's going to happen. So, for instance, in the Dragon Mania Legends, that takes a while to load. If it takes a while, be honest about it. So, because uncertain wait times is also way longer than certain times.
Yeah.
Should we switch over to yours?
Sure, why not? Why not?
There we go.
Now we can show the YouTube logo, maybe. Yeah, there we go.
And I can see the chat room again.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And that belly thing, that's more fun.
Did you talk? I wasn't listening. I was trying to figure out.
I didn't talk to you, so that's fine.
Okay. There we go. There we go. So we're married, so I don't have to listen to him.
Wait, what? There's such a rule?
No, as females.
Oh, okay.
That reminds me of the 1996 point-and-click adventure Broken Sword. That let me play a game of Breakout during installation. Yes, that is the perfect way. That is perfection because it's occupied wait. I love things like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Should we
Do stuff?
do stuff?
Yes.
So
Does it work the other way around? I started it. Does it work the other way around with ignoring your spouse? No, it does not. Sorry. It does. In theory, it doesn't, but in practice, it does.
So I mentioned this in the beginning. I've done a couple of test runs with all of this. So I have a little bit of finished code, and we're going to do it basically all live. But I do have a snippet of code I'm just going to paste in here.
Snippets.
So what we have here is that we have search active conferences. So this is the method that is used for getting all the conferences. It's the same method used for the attendee page, and it's the same method used for the speaker page. And I'm about to sneeze.
There we go.
I really hope we did mute that one.
According to the Stream Deck, we did mute.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
If not, I'm so sorry.
11 viewers just lost their hearing.
Yeah, that will be in the news tomorrow.
So basically what we have here is that we are getting the conferences. We're using an index search by search term. We did have all of this before. We are adding some search term, or we are querying on search terms. We are filtering whether or not it has open call for paper or not. We are saying, hey, we only want events that hasn't happened yet. Now, one would figure that if it's an open call for paper, the event hasn't started yet.
Yeah, usually.
And this is wrong.
Uh-oh.
How did this happen?
I don't know. You pasted
Remember
wrong.
that one. And basically what we're doing here is that if it has an open call for paper, or actually if we use that parameter and we say it has open call for paper, we're going to filter. No, we're going to. Sorry, I'm actually going to read the code before I talk. If it has open call for paper, I'm going to assume that I want the result in open call for paper and the end date of those, because in the speaker page it's showing the conferences that has the least amount of time for the open call for paper first. So I'm going to assume that I want to filter, or I'm going to sort on end date, and if I don't have that or has open call for paper, so basically all the conferences that haven't happened yet, I'm just going to sort on event start. So here's the new stuff. I've added a page size, and how much, how large the amount of data we're going to get. So if I'm on page 0 times 10, I'm going to skip 0 things, and I'm going to take 10 of them. And if we have on page 1, well, then I'm going to skip 10 items and still get 10 items. So we're getting the page functionality built into this query. So this is one of the things I've done. So if we build
Thindal
this,
says, these queries always make me uncertain about off by 1 errors.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
been there, done that.
Probably going to do it again.
Copilot saved me.
That's good. That's good.
Oh, it didn't save me, but I did. It did help me though. So basically, what we want to do is we want to add 2 properties, right? So we want to add a page size 10 and we want to add a current page, so the actual page we're on right now, which is going to be default 0. Like so.
Okay. Thindal has a nifty workaround that he's using for that problem. He always makes a list of item 1, item 2, so he can query that first. Yeah, that's smart.
So we're going to do a couple of things here. So one of the things we are going to do is, if we scroll up here, we see that we have a conference item. And that item, it's looping over all the conferences we got. And for each item, it's going to show our conference item. But what I would like to do is to have a couple of conferences preloaded in the conferences list. And so when we go into the page, we're going to use the same rendering method. It's just going to render the placeholders. And as soon as those placeholders change or the data changes, it's then going to load the real data inside of those items. So what we want to do here is that
we wanted to say thank you to Thindal because he's promoting us. Thank you so much. He calls us wonderful and wholesome. Oh, thank you. You're awesome.
So what we can do here, let me see if I'm going to get that.
Oh, that's nice. We have a SQL and Python user here, but love watching all codes in the wild. Yeah. Wild code are the best.
This
right?
is C#.
Yeah. We're mostly
Blazor.
doing C#, and we have some UX rants as well, because that's what I do.
That's what you do. UX rants.
Yeah, I rant and I do UX, so why not combine them?
Yep. Two of my interests.
Oh my gosh, you're so kind. Look, they are so nice in the chat room. I don't know. Thank you. Oh. And so is Thindal. I know,
that's
right?
True.
Oh, the semicolons are the bane of my existence, of everyone's existence. For sure. Hi, Napalm. Oh, sorry, carry on. You do code. I do chat.
So basically what I want to do is I want to fill the conferences. So when I say load data, I want to clear the existing conferences because we want to be able to see that it's loading even though we already have conferences. When we clear that, say, hey, update the UI, and then get the conferences.
Yeah.
So basically what I want to do here is I want to set conferences, enumerable, repeat, new conference. So I'm basically adding, I'm saying set the conferences, and I want to have an enumerable, a list of new conference. And I want the page size of that to a list. And then I'm simply going to say invoke async state has changed, like that.
But you have a question.
Why this is covering. There we go. Okay.
When combining async await and link, would iAsync enumerable T via system link async work with Blazor's data binding to stream the data to the UI?
I'm not actually entirely sure about that answer. I don't think it would work because what is actually happening is that when we go into the load data method here, for example, it's going to start loading the conferences, and at the end of that method, we are
Thank you for the follow.
Is now following.
We will get the reload of the page or the new render of the render tree, basically. So what you could do is basically, stream and push that, re-render the tree, doing that again, but that is going to be a huge performance hit.
Yeah. Yeah, Thindal also says not in WASM, I think. Maybe on server?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I'm not entirely sure. I shouldn't really say you can't do that, but I don't think you can.
Hey, Coding Planet! We're so happy you're here.
So basically what we're doing, we're like clearing the list, getting new conferences here, pushing them to the list, just empty conferences, reloading the UI, saying, hey, you know what? Something changed. Update whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And then we're going to search, and I believe we have a couple of more parameters. We have page size. That would be the page size variable. And we got the page, what did I call it? Current page. Let's copy that over. There we go. So basically we have the it's hard coded at this point.
Yeah.
We're not moving in pages. We're getting 10 items. That's what we're doing. So let's go up here. So up here we had, like, if we do have any conferences, start rendering all of this.
Yeah.
This is basically always going to be true, because
Yeah, we will always have conferences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, oh, and we since we're setting them at the beginning, they're going to be conferences.
Yeah.
But there is a moment when we haven't run that code yet, so that might be empty. And if we do a query and we for some reason don't get a reply back, then we're going to have an empty. We're not going to get any conferences back. So let's see here. So if we do have any conferences, we want to do that. And if we don't have any conferences, we want to show no results. Makes sense. So what I want to do next is we're going to take a look at the conference item. So in here we have a lot of stuff. Actually,
this is where you are as well? Thindal says this is about where he is as well. Get data, display data, screw use. What? No! No. Get data, display data, screw users when we have a lot of data. Yeah, that's what we need to fix. Are you using progress indicators?
So kind of what I want to do is I want to, if we don't have any data, so if we're just sending in a new conference, I want to show the progress indicator.
Yeah.
So let's go in. Our title is, or name in this case, is doesn't contain anything. So I'm going to assume here that if the title of the conference,
Yeah.
or the name of the conference, I should say, is empty, then the data hasn't loaded, because I think that title for a conference, we need that.
Yeah,
That's the least amount of data
exactly.
that we need.
I just need to mention Napalm is here, and his little pup has been sick all week.
Aww.
Yeah. It looks like it's only a bug, but it wasn't looking good in the beginning of the week. So we will keep you in our thoughts.
Keep us updated.
Yeah, for sure. Animals are like our family members. They're our babies. Yes, I just wanted to mention that, so we can keep that in mind.
So if we don't have a title, we simply want to do, like, let me scroll up here.
Thindal says that his cat is his only family. I've lived in her apartment for 12 years now. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
It's if you have a cat, they're the boss. You're not an owner. You're just the servants.
Bring me the red dot.
Yeah, exactly.
So if we don't have any conference loaded, we want to show a load wrapper. I'm going to come back to exactly what that is. That code I did steal from the internet. And I'm going to set a height of 246 pixels. This is something that I tested out and it felt good to me. Now, writing styles like this is not good, or at least not, in my opinion, something that you should do. But for this, we're just testing it out and see if everything is working as it should. And inside of that, we're going to add another div with the activity class. And what we're actually doing is the progress indicator is going to be like a sweeping action like this.
Yeah, kind of like the one I showed on my phone.
Exactly. So the sweeping action is actually the activity class. And we're going to close up all of that goodness. Okay.
So Lady Rambo says that her dogs own the house. She just pays the mortgage. Yeah. That tracks for sure. I like how many animal lovers were here in the chat room.
So let's see here. We actually can do that. So when I thought about this the first time, I thought that this conference item can't be required, but it actually can, since we're sending that data in. So that's going to be
what's the difference
totally
there?
fine. So required means that you need to set a value to it when you're, if you're creating a class, for example, you need to set that value from the get-go.
Okay.
You can't say new and then set the value. You need to set it in the new context, basically.
Got it.
Which is super, super nice.
Delicious C# 11.
Yeah. To be honest, required is probably the best thing since C# 5. I don't know. But it's the best feature. I think it came in C# 11, right? It's just the best thing. What we're doing is, so basically what you could do is that you can create a constructor and set all the values inside of the constructor, and you say that you need to supply all these values. And let's say that you have different variations of those or something like that. It's going to be a lot of code that you need to write. Or you can just add that required keyword. And by doing that, you still need to set them, but you don't need to set them through a constructor. It's amazing. It's really, really good.
Could you scroll up again? Was there an if for the else with a progress indicator? Thindal asks.
There is an if up here. Let me fix the code here. There we go. So if the code is, or the name of the conference is empty, we probably need to do something a little bit
more pretty.
It kind of gives me bad taste, but it works. So this is what we're going for.
We also have there's also underscore equals item, throw new argument null exception name of item, explosions everywhere.
But I believe that one actually has an even nicer. Look at this. Check this out. That is absolutely not what we need to write. Does it even have one? Yeah. So basically you can do that same thing, doing it like that instead. That is really nice, I think.
But apparently that's too fancy for Thindal. I've met you. You can be fancy.
Okay, so
Well,
something
sorta.
is still blowing up, and I think I know why. Let me go.
Sort of mean. Oh my god, I thought I just said not sort of you can be fancy, sort of we met. Discards are great. Thank you for that, Napalm says. Oh, okay, Thindal says, I'm not 110% about the throw-in full, to be honest. Because with the other way, you can combine null check and private var assignments as well and keep everything in a single style. Yeah.
So
I like that you can pick and choose.
Yeah.
What works right now.
So apparently, I did edit the wrong page, but I think we're gonna be fine anyway.
Okay. You're in the attendees page
I
right
am
now.
in the attendee page.
And you should be in the conference item now.
I thought I was editing the speaker page, but we're fine. We're fine. We are fine. Like the dog in the fire.
This is fine.
Exactly. Exactly that one.
Yeah.
Let me actually... So what we are probably going to do in the next iteration is that we're going to combine the speaker page and the attendee page because they're so similar. But for now, we're just going to copy and paste this like so. So in this case, we want to show the call for papers. We can remove that one. And in the query, we want to... Let me see here what we got here. So in the query, a little bit of help here. We want to have with open call for paper. So that's the only two changes that we need to do between the speaker and the attendee page. Okay, so...
Yeah. Jimmy's probably aware of this already, but should you really combine the pages and not just make a generic component? Serious question, I'm not being drig.
Not just make a generic component.
Why haven't we done a component of this? Because they're so similar, right?
Well, I would argue... So when I say we're going to combine the pages, that is a generic component in my opinion.
There you go. Does anyone else find it rough coding with nullable reference checks? While I appreciate it, sometimes things are just null. Yes, I know about the exclamation mark, but it feels like cheating. Oh, yeah.
The exclamation mark kind of gives me a bad taste as well. It's like I don't really want to use it, but sometimes I have to. But yeah. I totally
you still have two pages, but with a single shared logic component on.
So basically what I'm saying is that I'm going to have one page with two page directives. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, there you go. Thindal is apparently not a fan either, because it's a code smell.
Sometimes
cool.
you kind of need it.
Thindal didn't know you could actually have two page directives. That's cool. Nice.
You can have 3. 4.
Can you have 5?
Not 5, but 6 you can have.
Oh, okay.
So what I did was that I went out on the internet and I found a load wrapper that you should have like around or a div with around there, and an activity which is the scrolling part. Now I know CSS, but I don't know this kind of CSS. So I'm like just copy paste. That's gonna be fine.
So you have your bases covered, but not like the super advanced
exactly
stuff.
these kind of things.
Gradients and
I have
stuff.
no idea.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see what we got
Yeah,
here.
CSS and animations are black magic, says Thindal.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Have you seen the stuff you can do in CSS? It's like, this surely is a video.
Okay, let's see. Look at that. Did you see it?
Do you want me to see it?
Actually, it looked a lot better on my screen.
It does not look pretty here.
Yeah, but
We're working on it. It's a work in progress. Thindal is on your side, yeah. It is a work in progress.
It's working. Let's pop into, just load the speaker page. I can't do that. Let's do it like that.
Give it a fade in and you will be there, says Thindal.
But you might notice that the page, we're cheating just a little bit because we're only loading 10 items, but it feels a heck of a lot faster.
Yeah.
What we also want to do is we want to go into the...
But what we're doing now is having the swooping thing inside our card instead of switching out the card.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why it looks horrendous.
Technically, we're I didn't get that one. What?
It looks horrendous.
So you don't want a sweeping thing inside of the card?
No,
that's what you're saying.
Well, usually, I mean, it's fine. It's better. It's still a work in progress, but usually it's on instead of, like the case for my applications on the phone. It loads a fake image and then it swoops on that.
Yeah.
Well,
but I think that
image.
this is. Right now we have a little bit of border here that makes it look a little bit wonky. But I think
and
this
also
is
the height. And Thindal is on my side there. The height changes, so that's also.
So the height.
Maybe a min height, he suggests.
There is a min height.
Okay.
The problem here is that there's actually two problems. So if you look at this one, we have a reasonable height. This one as well. This one as well. So this was a bad example.
So maybe a better min height?
But if you look at
the problem is that we don't know what the height will be because they're different.
Some has the images, some has not.
Yeah.
So if you look at this one...
And the images might be different sizes as well.
No, it's always going to be 100 pixels in height because we said that. Okay. That actually it's not always going to be that because we...
Also, you will like this one. FlashAware says a work in progress, but a work in progress bar.
Nice.
I thought you would like that.
So now the images is going to be 100 pixels. So you're it's a little bit better.
Yeah, it's better.
And the attendee page should look the same, and it does. So you gotta admit that this...
We're making baby steps. It's just my my perfectionist self that has issues. I'm working on it, okay? We're working on the page and that at the same time.
So let's see if we can load the page, okay? So for speakers. So this is the before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
That felt slow.
This is the after.
Yeah.
Which one is better?
Better? The new one is better. It's not prettier.
New one is better.
It's not prettier, but it's better.
Better? You all heard it here first. And if I search for something that doesn't exist, we're going to get the no results.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, right? If we go for Sweden, you'll see that
we have an open call for paper now.
So our conference has 18 more days of open call for papers. I'm looking at you, Thindal, and everyone else, of course. Submit. We will
go through them.
Yeah, we go through them. We cover travels, hotel, and, well, 2 days of fun, basically.
Yes, for sure. And most likely a speaker's dinner. Can you somehow make the conference items without a logo item be the same height? Well, we could, but then we are wasting a lot of space as well.
Make the conference logos without a logo.
No, the cards. Make them all the same, like a fixed size. So if it doesn't have an image.
So if there is an image,
Yeah.
just have an empty space.
Yeah, we did try to have the image on the right side, and that could have saved some of them. But some of, like the Omega Pone, that is way too wide for it to fit. Well, bad example, because this one had a short name as well, so it would actually fit. But you get what I'm saying here.
So one other option is that, I mean, these images are from Sessionize. So if we go into, let's go into SweetHug, for example. I haven't checked this, so this might be completely. So if we go into that homepage, we'll go into our trusted developer tools. Not that those are not the developers. Well, that's not the one either. That's the one I want. So up here, let's see if we do have something. So what we could do is that we could go to that page.
And get the image?
No.
That's a hard pass.
This image.
Yeah.
And have that.
Yeah, no, that's a hard pass.
Why?
Because now we're closing in on the territory where we are stealing images, and we don't want to do that.
All right.
Even if we are actually sending them to the web pages, it feels a little bit iffy if we're going to download the image and show that, and do stuff like that. So I prefer that we get our content from Sessionize.
Right.
I mean, we could discuss whether we should even show the image in this overview.
Yeah.
Maybe we should only actually show it when we go click on the information.
Now, that was the first version that we had, and when I saw that, I was like, I kind of need a little bit more information to click that link.
But what is it that the image will give you?
Happiness.
So we just need a prettier page.
That could be a solution.
Because this isn't pretty.
Yeah, but
because we can't control, and you see some of the images looks horrendous, like the modern endpoint.
Do, but I'd rather click this one than this one.
So what do chat room says? Should we keep the images or not? Because we could do the listing here without images, and then when we click it, we can see the image. And that would help us with that issue as well.
It's
Yeah, Napalm says without. I say without. Yeah. You are for.
Definitely with.
Yeah, so I am still in the lead. So we can stop now.
And you have 2 votes, right?
Well, we're married, so I have half of your vote as well, right? That's how it works.
That is not how it works.
It's not?
No.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe since we are disgracing the images, some of them. Sick burn. Sorry. It's all in good fun. No, I'm thinking since we can't even control how the images looks, I don't know. Are there copyright concerns? That's what I'm afraid of. For now, it's still under fair use because we are not stealing the data. We are getting it from a couple of different sources, Sessionize being one of them. And they do have an API and stuff like that. However, if we use it too much, I mean, we are pushing a little bit. Yeah. That's why I didn't want to get it from the webpage, because that is definitely intent.
I totally get it.
Yeah. So I think we are fine when it comes to copyright concerns, because we're not claiming that the images are our own. We are actually linking to their sites and to Sessionize, of course, where we get the data. So our goal isn't to keep the users on our page, which sounds a little bit fun or odd. Our goal is to have one place that you can search. If you're a speaker or an attendee, for instance, and you know that you're going to be in Denmark for some reason and you want to see if there's a conference there, you should be able to search that at one page, not at 4 different ones.
Yeah.
You're caching it though, right? Yeah. So we're not hitting their API on each refresh. No, that's for sure.
So the image we're not caching though.
No.
The browser does that for us.
Yeah. Which means it's our code who's actually caching it. It's just we are not saving it manually. It's just automatically. Yeah. It's for sure we're on the outskirts of the gray territory there, I think. But I think the intent also plays a big role in it.
Yeah.
I don't know any conference that does not want more speakers or more attendees or
we don't
stuff
want
like
you
that.
to send more speakers to us.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we do get a lot of applications that it is a lot of work going through them, but we still want them. Oh, you mean Sessionize? If Sessionize would be angry? Yeah, maybe. Oh, no, Napalm. We actually cover travel for our conferences. So send it in. Come, I will give you a hug. You can get a hug from us too. For sure. There will be one conference in when is Sveatug, in September? October? What did we end up?
November?
Is it November? Oh my gosh, I should know.
I don't even know anymore.
It is 26th to 27th of October, and then there will be one in Stockholm, which is our main big one, in January, February, around there. We haven't set the date. Will we cover from the US? We will definitely do that if you are picked. However, we are a non-profit.
So if you're not picked, we're not.
Yeah, I'm not as smart sometimes as I want to. But yeah, for sure. We have had speakers from the States before and also Europe. We will, however, since we're a non-profit, we will look so we don't pick all the American ones, for sure.
Look at this. Do you see it?
It's helping you?
This is exactly what I want to do.
Yeah, that's nice.
Thank you.
Getting accepted would require me to write something. Yeah, that's a requirement that you actually have something to present, for sure.
So that was exactly what I wanted as well.
Yeah, and it just helps you. And Napalm will have to write something too. Yeah, the call for paper is still open. I can link it.
And as a speaker, I can promise you that you do not have to have a finished presentation before submitting. That is basically what we all do. We do not write anything before we have been accepted, and it's like less than 1 hour.
It starts out, at least for us, it started out where I will never submit anything I'm not 100% happy with. Well, a couple of years in, and all of a sudden you're submitting stuff you want to write, but you haven't come around to writing it, and then you get accepted and you're like, oh no, crunch time.
Yeah, look at that. We have next buttons and previous buttons.
Yay.
I'm not entirely happy with how they look. But
No.
okay.
But baby steps. We're taking baby steps.
But now everything blew up.
Yeah. But we still have the whooshy thingy.
Yes, but well, I'm not gonna do anything about that. But
The blowing up?
no, the blowing up we're gonna do something about, because the previous page, if the current page, I'm gonna write it like that. Let me see here. There we go. If current page is
So if you don't want to write anything for during the summer for Gothenburg, there's always Stockholm, which is our hometown as well, and fairly close to Thindal as well. Well, basically you live in the middle of Gothenburg, and
I think it's technically closer to Gothenburg.
Is it?
Isn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
it
I'm
might
not sure.
be. Might be. Oh yeah, we would not force you to drive back and forth if you were accepted in Stockholm, for sure. Oh, it's 1/3 to Gothenburg and 2/3 to Stockholm. Oh, interesting. How to access your page? Let me link it. There we go.
We're just about to check if if the URL is working now. NextTechEvent.com works as well, but we haven't linked those together because it's work in progress. We're gonna do that.
Definitely a work in progress.
I
Wait, you have 200. Oh, okay. I read that wrong. Like 280 kilometers from Gränna. I was like, you live just by Lena. But I realized that he probably meant from Stockholm. Yeah.
all right. So we got previous and next buttons. We're gonna add those. We're gonna do what we talked about, because copying and pasting code, I'm not gonna do that anymore. So simply what we're gonna do is we're gonna do like this, and we're gonna pop in the attendees. Let me see what we called it. Attendees page. There
We called it
go.
attendees.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, who knew?
But let me think here. Basically, what we need to do is we're gonna we might be able to like figure out what the URL we use to get. Actually, we could use Navigation Manager, perhaps. Let's see if we can use Navigation Manager. So we're gonna inject. You see here. Inject Navigation Manager. That's exactly what I want to do, and even named it with an underscore, because I did that previously.
So, Thindal is, as you know, watching this live and went to the speakers page and thought, wait, is this broken? Because it was just empty and it said no results.
We fixed it.
That's definitely why we're working on it. But it just goes to show that even if you know, it will still feel broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes like 4 or 5 seconds to load, and we talked about that. It should. Jacob Nielsen states that 1 second is our limit for a user's flow of thoughts to stay uninterrupted. Basically, we have 1 second. That's why we have TikTok.
I can't take this.
What? Okay, you okay. So he looks very angry, but he's just disappointed that the co-pilot actually is beating him to the point and does it well. Play nice with AI.
It's not exactly what we want to do.
Co-pilot scares me often, very often, says Thindal. That's why we say please and thank you to all our digital assistants. The AI is such a know-it-all. Yeah, I think you told this story before, but it's a good story. In the beginning, just the beginners days of Copilot, Jimmy was trying it out, and it found something quite complicated, and it found a lot of it, and it suggested the correct things. So he saved probably like 10-15 minutes. However, he actually lost like 5 minutes because he had to call his coworker.
5 minutes, 5 hours.
No. Yeah. I mean, you lost out of those. So basically, you spent 20 minutes talking to your coworker because look at this, it can't be true.
Yeah. So I never call people. I never use a phone. I never call on Teams or anything like that unless I've like, are you free? Can I call you? Is that okay?
Yeah, you want it pre-approved.
Yeah. But this time I just called.
Yeah.
We stop what you're doing.
We need to talk.
Yeah.
Jimmy, can you try hitting Alt plus what do we call it? Fnut?
I'm actually not.
And ask it to make tests for this page using
nice.
BUnit.
I don't have that plugin installed on this machine.
Oh, there you go. But you have on your other.
Yes. I can't live without it. Okay, so
my first oh my god moment. No, oh my god, this is awesome moment was when I was pulling my nails out, aka writing unit tests, and just hit for the attribute, and it suggested a test tab, new tab. Yeah. It was awesome. And 9 out of 10 it worked.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the 1 out of 10 you can just fix it.
Yeah.
Usually. So we're teaching at a school, and we had a conversation.
Yeah,
and
I sat on my hands for that one.
And one of the teacher was like, so what are we? I want to talk about what are we doing with AI? What do we need to? We were
talking about checkpoints and testing. Like, are you? Because the students do tests quite often, which are graded. And sometimes it's regular written tests, and sometimes it's code you're submitting, and they were a little bit worried about how are we solving this AI cheating thing.
Actually, he started off like, yeah, I'm thinking about AI all day or something like that, and I'm like, oh,
nice.
What are you doing?
That was my take as well.
and apparently he was like, so how do we solve these kinds of things? And I mean, I get that AI is a problem when it comes to like writing a report of some kind. That's kind of cheating,
like
right?
your elementary school and stuff like that. But these are, first of all, grown-ups. Because they're usually, I think the median age is like 30, 35. So it's grown-ups.
Yeah.
And also, one other person who was in that call said, well, the house of, if they are cheating, their house of cards will fall down when they come out in the work field. Because they are actually already employed. And then they go this course, and then they go out and work. So they have gotten a job. So what he was like, yeah, well, it will be in their worst interest if they do that, because when they come out and will actually start working, they can't do it. But I'm not sure if I agree, because if they are good enough to interpret what the AI are helping you with, if that is ChatGPT or if that is Copilot or anything else, they will still have those tools when they are working. So is it cheating, or is it just using a tool?
Now, I would argue that the developers that know-it-all is
full of air.
They are, but I mean, we do have some kind of like base knowledge. We can figure things out. We know where to get the information and stuff like that.
Thank you for the
Thindal
follow.
is now
But
following.
I would argue that let's assume it's a long time. I'm gonna say that in 5 years, these people don't exist anymore, because we can just figure it out. We can just search for it. We can use AI. So we don't need to know all of these things. So there was a famous, I believe there was a reporter that asked Einstein, so do you know how the speed of sound, I believe he asked. And
like the definition and...
actually, the speed of sound.
Okay, yeah.
That's what's the number, like how many kilometers per hour or whatever.
Or whatever you measure that in.
Exactly. And Einstein was like, no, I don't know that, because these kinds of things I can, these things are documented. I can just look it up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like...
And we had this kind of scare before with Google. Or should the students be allowed to Google? And in general, in these courses that our students are taking, they are not allowed to Google. However, in our classes, for their checkpoints or whatever you call it, their tests, they are allowed, because you will be allowed to do that when you get out in the field as well. However, do so with caution, because if you learn nothing, you need to know the basics, right?
I remember when I was teaching a class in Node.js for of all of the things.
I don't know how you
I
ended
did a
up.
Node.js class for a week, and there was one girl that was like, "Could you help me with this problem? I need help with this problem," and I don't remember exactly what it was. And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, but you need to Google it." And he says, "But just tell me how to do it." I don't know how to do it. Just Google it.
Yeah. And that is something that I struggled with as well, and also the main reason I'm not a developer. That, and I see the problem as one big thing, and I have trouble breaking it down. I felt like I was cheating if I was using someone else's code, which is a me problem, because you need to. And actually, Thindal has another example of that as well. When he had physics test in high school, they actually got a small booklet of formulas and constants, because it wasn't about cramming all the numbers. It was about learning how to use things. And that's exactly my point as well. Why should we cram our brains? I mean, we have limited RAM in our brains. Why should we cram the things we really don't need to know when we can look it up?
I had a class with TCP, with all of these HTTP protocols, basically. And the teacher said, you know what, we're going to do two things in this class. We're going to learn how all of these things work, and we're also going to learn how to make a homepage. We're going to learn HTML. And what you should do is you should do an HTML page. You're allowed to print that page and use that during the test. You need to give it to me, but you're allowed to use that. I think that's...
I mean, who doesn't Google when they code? Or it's Stack Overflow?
Well, we Google and then go to Stack Overflow.
Yeah. Ding John thinks our webpage is very useful. Thank you.
Happy to hear that.
Yeah, sometimes the pages are more aimed towards a speaker, and sometimes an organizer, and sometimes an attendee, and we just wanted it all.
Yeah.
Stack Overflow driven development. Yeah, for sure.
That's definitely true.
Martin Fowler might not be Googling things. Well, we had... Who did we talk to? The C# person on the podcast? The Dane. When we did at Build.
Who
made freaking... Yeah. he's the person behind C#, basically.
He's the person that took over from the person that made C#.
But has been working with it for years and years and years. And one would think that he feels that he is at least okay in C#. And he's like, no, I Google all the time. He's like, there's people who knows this better than me. And that was, he was so... What do you call it? I was going to say humid. My brain, I think I'm about to get a migraine. So
humble?
I'm getting humble. Thank you. I'm getting, I feel how my cognitive, see, I couldn't even point made. Humble. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, all of these famous people, if you will. I mean, Scott Hanselman is struggling with
imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. Thank you. We were doing a conference. I'm sorry, Scott, I'm outing you now. But we were doing a conference, and he was like, Jimmy, I need to talk to you because I'm not entirely sure about this talk. And he was like, we were talking through the talk, and I'm so nervous. And I'm like, you're Scott freaking Hanselman.
Yeah. Well, he was the big name we had for that conference as well. But still, it's interesting to know that people who are speaking on every single build, Microsoft build out there, is still getting nervous for our 200 people, 300 people it might have been. I don't know, 200-300. Yeah.
I think the issue is that he is Scott freaking Hanselman. Yeah, you have a point.
The man is a legend, but it doesn't help my imposter syndrome to know I'm not alone. It does help. Yeah, exactly. He has done a lot of shows on imposter syndrome for sure. But I did see, my gosh, what's his name?
You need to give me a little bit more.
The presentation guy that we follow on all the medias who was talking about imposter syndrome, and he also suffers from imposter syndrome. He's a trainer.
Oh, right. I don't know his name.
Okay. Yeah. But he said that he is reframing the imposter in his brain to say that it's not I suck, it's I will not suck. Like it's more like I need to work so I don't suck instead of I suck.
Yeah.
So he's
work
trying to
on it, make it better.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically.
Yeah.
All right, back to the code.
Tangents everywhere.
So the speaker page, we added another page directive here. So we got two of them. And down here, we're saying that if the navigation manager's URL contains speakers, we want CFP to be true.
Yeah.
So we want to get the call for paper. And basically, we're sending that variable into the load data sync, and also inside of the show call for paper in the conference item. So let's see if this works. I don't know. Oh, actually, I forgot something. It's not going to work. It's going to blow. It's going to break. Actually, this is kind of a fun moment. I think that this is going to... Yes, it broke.
As expected.
As expected. So in here, we'll see that... Okay, so this error message is basically saying that, hey, you know what? We have we don't know what page we're supposed to route you to, because I still have the attendee page still available. This error message did not say this at some point in I think it was .NET 6, I believe. It basically just said, you know what, broken, and it didn't give us any kind of information. That is actually the reason why we developed the show routes method for in the first iteration. So basically what we will see here that we have two attendees routes. Yeah. So if we go to one of them, we'll see that.
Oh, right, because you didn't remove that. Yeah, that makes sense.
So what we can do, we can go in here, we can jump in here, we can go to the attendee page and simply delete not the name, but the whole page. Boom. I think we might have actually less code to check in than when we started. Okay, let's see if this works.
Are you the holder of food for your cat?
It's still broken. Let's rebuild.
Are you at max again? Oh my gosh. Napalm says, that's why I said, should I even put in for Svetug? I say to myself, I don't want Jessica and Jimmy potentially selecting me and letting them down. Do I have anything interesting enough to talk about? Let me tell you, we have been speaking at conferences for over 10 years. It does not get better. You just need to push that aside because it's not up to you to decide if we think it's interesting. And also, what you should know is that you're awesome. And apart from that, sometimes you will get a no because we get 800 submissions and we only have like 60 slots or 50 slots or something like that, which is also, it doesn't help with the imposter syndrome. But I am happy to tell you that we usually provide speaker training, and that speaker training is also stage fright, and we cover imposter syndrome and stuff like that. So that's also an option. And yes, you should submit. If it doesn't work for this conference, it's work for the next one. We have 2.
This is still blowing up. What? Why is it not working? Still says that speaker page and attendees page. But I just removed that one, didn't I? Did I fail? No, it's not there anymore.
Did you fail the city?
Did
I just covered my restaurant food with MSG because numb.
I don't
MSG is the best. Oh, thank you, Napalm.
It's building.
And I mean, you can still put it in. You don't have to accept. If you haven't done this before, so this is how Sessionize works. You submit to a conference, or many, and then the conference, if they choose you, you will get. Do you want to accept this? Do you still want to do this? So you have to basically say yes twice. So you still have an option to back off if you want to, without anyone getting angry.
But as Jessica says, it's not going to be better.
No, we still have.
Just go for it.
Yeah, exactly. And also, we can do a trial run on stream or something. Is it considered rude to back out of a conference? It depends on how you do it. Usually, no, because we all know most organizers, at least for our conferences, we're a non-profit. All of our conferences basically are non-profit, so we don't make any funds, and that's not our goal. We want to break even and have an awesome event. So we are community-driven, is what I was trying to say.
All the people that organize the conference don't get paid. We get sometimes we get a little bit of a Lego set or something like that.
Yeah, but we are community-driven, so people are either attendees or speakers themselves. And we know that sometimes life happens, and that is okay. It feels bad for the person who has to send that email and saying, sorry, I can't do this because I got sick or I have something else, or it feels really, really bad, but usually it's okay. for sure. And I mean, if it's the day of, okay, we will have to work a little to make it happen, to maybe find a replacement, but usually it's not an issue at all. And I think I speak for a lot of conferences, because they usually have some sort of community connection. Is it a lot of pressure on the stream?
So what happened?
Yeah, what happened?
I'm going to show you. I kind of was afraid that this could happen, but I wasn't sure. So if we reload the page, you'll see that. Let's reload it from scratch. So if you go into for speakers, you'll see that we have JetBrains on the top here.
Yeah.
If I go to attendees, you will see that nothing happened.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that the URL changed, but the page didn't change, right?
Oh, got it. So this is the issue that you found at your workplace as well. Sometimes when a page is very quick to load or doesn't have to load, like in this place, it will feel like, oh, I didn't click.
Yeah, but in this case, the routing says that, okay, you're on the speaker page. The routing says, I want to go to attendee page. Yeah, but you're already there.
Yeah.
So in this case, nothing happens at all.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is, because also the uninitialized async is only going to trigger the first time the page loads. So when I go to attendee page, the page is already done. I don't want to do anything about this.
Isn't there an on navigate, says Thindal?
There is. There's basically a couple of things we could do. We could change. So the navigation manager has navigate to, or navigate to, I think. And you can set force to true, and that's going to reload the page. Now, what I am thinking is that I'm going to try to simply move everything from uninitialized to the on parameter set async method instead. I'm not sure if this will solve the problem.
Let's see.
Sometimes you need to do a little bit of trial and error.
For sure.
There we go.
It's basically the whole web page.
And we're just going to wait this one. Oh, come on. There we go. So basically what we're saying that if any parameters change, I'm not sure if they will change if I just switch the pages like that. But if they do, it's going to load this code and actually reload the page. So let's pop there. For speakers. No, it did not help. Okay. So what we need to do then is basically add a parameter. That's how we're going to solve that. That's the easy way out. So we're going to add a parameter here. Say CFP.
Napalm says, I really need to start working on something soon because this low code thing work has me using is killing my coder soul.
Need to figure something out for you. All right, so CFP, I'm saying that it needs to be a bool. And let's see here. We got the CFP here. I'm going to make that public because a parameter needs to be public. It should be a parameter like that. And let's do a get and set for that one as well. Make it a property. There we go. Looks nice. By doing that, we don't need the contain speaker thing anymore, but I think we're going to keep it, because if someone types the URL just /speakers, it's still going to make sure that it hits this page. So let's see if this should still not work. Let's see if it's
Colored shadows go away or go ahead on websites. I mean, it's all a balance, right? If it balances the page, well, go ahead. If it doesn't, go away. That's not the answer you wanted, was it?
Why isn't that working? Did we not compile it completely? Is that what happened?
As they say, it depends. Yeah. Sometimes I feel bad during my UX classes because I get a question and I'm like, well, it depends. And it kind of does. If someone is going to ask me some yes or no question, I'm just going to start answering everything with it depends, is napalm. Yeah, you can never go wrong. I don't like depends either. Oh, okay. You have no feeling for design and that answer doesn't help me. Okay. If you're building a web page and you're wondering if you should add that, if it doesn't add to the functionality or to the hierarchy, skip it. If you don't feel you have that designery part of you. Oh, we know you're not passive aggressive. We're all friends here.
Okay.
Now, I should definitely... it's the same with gradients. You should put in gradients. You should do your web page, like the bare minimum in with no gradients. And then you should see if you can add some gradients if you need to. Because it doesn't add to the functionality. And instead, you might get a few problems using gradients, especially if you don't feel like you're very designery, for sure. Did it work?
Let's see.
Yes.
So basically what we did was that in the menu, I'm adding the parameter true or false. So
Okay.
Show me call for paper, do not show me call for paper.
Yeah.
And in the speaker page, I added speakers, because if we navigate there with just speakers, the if statement down here is going to take care of the CFP parameter, or with /attendee. But if we click the links, the true or false that we send in is going to take over. Actually, it's not going to take over, because we still have this code. So we're not going to be able to say like /attendees /true and get the wrong data.
Okay.
That's just the benefit of actually keeping this. So let's see what we got here. There we go. And there we go. Nice. And we should still be able to say speakers.
It
Boom.
worked.
There we go. Okay, so basically we're basically on time, right?
Yeah.
But I kind of want to add the map. Can I add the map?
How long is the map?
I can do it pretty fast.
Okay.
Pretty fast.
Yeah, I'm cranky because I have a surgical procedure in the morning, and I need to sleep and eat before
10
that.
minutes.
Yeah, sure. Jimmy's 10 minutes. I've heard that before.
So what I want to do, I want to add. If you saw the stream last week, we did a geo search, so we're going to be able to search by location. Now, I want to do I want to add a map to that. So basically, we will be able to...
so you can visualize it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I can actually bring in some of that code. So what we need to do first, I've added Telerik components. I will already added those to the project with their NuGet package. They have a NuGet feed for the paid version and another NuGet feed for the non-paid version, the trial. So all of that is already set up, and I've added that to the project. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go to the layout page. Where do we have that?
Thindal is asking me if I can't have food. I can have food. However, because I'm not going under anesthesia. But what I am doing is removing a tooth surgically. So they will cut up my mouth, and I will probably not have a fun time eating after that. But it's in the morning, so I need to eat dinner now so I don't stay up all night. That's why. And the only day, isn't it funny? The only day I could get an appointment is on Midsummer's Eve, which is usually a holy day in Sweden. Literally, it's definitely a day off, and yeah. So that's strange. It was that or next year. Okay, so tell me about the code you just brought in.
I added a script for the JavaScript and a style sheet for the style sheet. We're going to pop into the geo page here. This is the page we did earlier, our last stream. So basically what I want to do is that if I have any conferences, if I have found anything, I'm just going to add the map. So I added all of this goodness. We're going to go through it all. Why isn't this helping me? Huh.
I think they're trying to solve my issues with Thindal said, well, the alcohol, because there's alcohol involved with celebrating midsummer sometimes. It's accustomed to drink basically flavored vodka in shots. I do not do that, but he had a point because it will disinfect the wound. So I was like, well, I'm driving, and now Napalm says maybe take an Uber, or I'll not drink. Yeah, spiced booze. That's basically what they do, and then we sing very silly songs. Very silly songs.
So let's see.
So there will be no Nube for us.
I think I actually did not have the latest version on this machine. Let's see. No, still not. Okay.
Spiced rum sounds good.
So what I want to do is I want to inject a couple of things. I want to inject the navigation manager just as before, and I want to inject the JS runtime. We'll come back to that in a bit. Let me see if... Oh, there we go. Just didn't give me any help. Okay, so if we take a look at what we did, or what I just pasted, is that I have a Telerik map. It has a center, so basically the center of where the map should be, a zoom level, and a height and a width. And if I click on a marker, so they have a couple of different things that you can have on your map. You can have a marker, you can have a, I should remember them, something else. There are a couple of things that you can, radius thing and stuff like that. And I'm saying that location field is going to get from the marker model, which we're going to create in just a bit, lat and longitude, and same thing with the title is going to come from the marker model as well. And the marker setting is basically, so what do we want to do? Well, we want to get the data item as a marker model, and show the title. And we're going to come back to that in just a bit. We're also having a map layer. Well, this was the first map layer with all the data. And we also have another map layer showing that. So we're using OpenStreet information. So they want to have some kind of saying that we're using this information. So we're going to pop in down here and simply say, you know what? We need subdomains. We're not using that, but the reason for the functionality is that when we're getting information about the map, it can use multiple domains to get more information, because there is usually a limitation. I think it's like 4 or 6 items per domain when it's getting data. So if we're like have 1,000 images, it's gonna go 6, 6, 6, 6.
Okay.
But if we have 6 from this domain, 6 from that domain, 6 from another domain, it's gonna load all the images way faster. So that's the reason why they have that functionality. This is basically what they say we should put in there. A little bit of copyright there, and center is latitude and longitude, which is the thing that we're sending in when we go to the page. And we have a marker. Let me see here. Where's my mouse? There it is. So when we're clicking a marker, we want it to navigate to a new window. Now, usually we can do just a simple A tag or a link. And when we click that, we will say that the target is going to be blank. Boom, we got a new page or a new tab. But since we want to do this, navigate to from code behind, that's a completely different story.
Okay.
Luckily, in the blossom.components, there is an extension method that is called navigate to new window async.
Oh, that's handy.
I pressed navigate. There's a to new window. That's exactly what I want to do, because I didn't remember that we did a couple of demos with the Blossom in here.
Yeah.
So we had that already installed. So basically what we're doing is we're saying navigate to new window, the JS runtime, the URL, and opening small text, just, hey, we're opening something. And for the load data, I'm going to pop in that as well. Let me see here. The load data, I'm going to replace that. Simply, we're getting all the conferences. We still have the min and max value for now. So we're going to get all the conferences within this area that we're searching in.
And that will come in handy, I think.
But do you think all the conferences?
No, I mean just having an area that you
got it.
You can search in.
And here we have longitude, latitude, title, and an ID. This is just the sample called it marker model. I did the same. And we're missing one more thing. Let me see where we have that one.
So this is one of Progress Telerik's Blazor components.
Yes.
Which is truly native.
It is truly native. Oh, there it is. Pop that one in as well. So basically a list of marker models.
Right.
So when we get the data, we're getting the data just as before. We're getting the conferences, latitude, longitude, and a radius in kilometers, I believe. The dates from where we want to get those conferences, in this case, all of them. And we want to order by end date. Maybe we should do it on start date instead. I don't know where that I don't know if I copied this from somewhere or whatever, but I actually think we're going to go with start day. Oh, this is called for paper start day. I think we're going to go with event start. Because this page doesn't have anything to do when it comes to open call for paper. This is all about the conferences. And down here we're saying that conferences.select, we're going to select a new marker model and fill all the information that we need.
Nice.
There is actually only one more thing we need to do.
Is there a reason to not use to list a sync?
Did I not do that? No, I didn't.
Or his next words are, or preference, or just preference, or mistakes.
I guess there's no reason not to. So I can do that if I can do that, if I can spell that. Because I don't have one of those.
Oh, that's why.
That's a good reason, I think.
Yeah. It's not available.
There is a couple of different schools when it comes to async and the web, because in some cases we kind of like just want to grab the data, push it out, and be done with it, and go on our merry way.
Yeah.
But so sometimes async is kind of bad for the web, but I usually always use it. But in this case, I didn't apparently.
It's somewhere in some namespace, probably.
I'm gonna leave it for now.
Yeah.
So in the main layout, we need to do a couple of more things. We need to add something called a Telerik root component.
Okay.
And that you need to do that. So all the Telerik components is inside of that component, or inside of that control. So we're just gonna replace this one and say, you know what? We're gonna use Telerik root component, and then we're gonna render everything else inside of that. This is one of the things that I don't like with these kinds of components, because it's inside of that component. Now I know that the components are awesome and all of that, so I'm not worried.
Yeah, I think Thindal was in agreement with you as well. And he also says I try to async things if they can be asynced, because if they are an async alternative, there's probably a reason, maybe, perhaps.
I don't think that statement is always true, but I do the same, to be honest.
And he also likes components to be self-contained.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's see what we got here. Let's search for just a small one.
We have a map!
So
search for Gothenburg then.
Oh, come on. Let's see here. So these are the... so this is Stockholm.
Mm-hmm.
The position is Stockholm.
The position is Stockholm.
So these are the ones inside of Stockholm and 40 kilometers out. So let's say 400.
Thindal says I'll give Ed a poke about it next time we meet. Honestly, do you know what the root component does?
I don't.
So Ed Chabanot, he's one of the many awesome people at Progress Telerik. Hey, look at that! There is one in Gothenburg. I see it.
Yep.
Is it ours?
So
it is.
Oh, the Sumi thing. I don't think it's a map problem. It's me problem.
I don't think that's how you spell his name. Chabanot is his name. Not, but this is what we have. It's unspellable. I've sent him a couple of speaker's gifts, so I think I have it down. However, we do have other friends with like Martin. That's basically how.
He probably likes you. We're talking about him like that.
Yeah. No, it's a me problem, definitely. It's we who can't spell for the love of us.
So if I now click Suite of Gothenburg, So now you need to be ready because it's going to go pretty fast here.
Yeah.
So if I click there, oh, did you see that the page went white for just briefly?
Maybe.
Let me see if I can do that again.
Okay, click it. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
So that will not be an issue on the light theme, but in the dark theme it will be.
Yeah.
Well, it's not an issue, but because it's a transition, so I think it's...
and I'm honestly not sure if we can do anything about it.
And also sometimes you just need to cut your losses. We have more high prior things.
And what is actually happening there is that it's using JavaScript to create a new window. It says opening and the suite of Gothenburg in this case, and it loads the page. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
This should be pretty good when it comes to pop-up stoppers. Obviously,
you mean it should still work if you have blockers?
I wouldn't say that it's 100%, but it should work pretty good.
Oh, we have a suggestion from Thindal can we perhaps set the background color of that JavaScript thingy for the current style background somehow?
So basically what it does is that it has, if I remember correctly, we could actually do a quick just see what GitHub
he's
has
not
to
sure
say.
if it actually... He doesn't have the answers. He's just... giving us examples.
Let me see. Awesome. Where is it? Components. It would be that one, and it should be some kind of script. Open a new window. So basically what we're doing here is we're doing a...
Can't see that because I'm in the way.
You're still in the way.
Okay, so I'll do this then.
Does the sound still work? I don't know. Just do it like this.
Yay, workarounds!
So basically what it's doing is that it's opening a blank page and writing to the message to that document. I could have as easily written HTML and CSS and all of that stuff.
But you chose JavaScript.
No. I mean instead of the text message, I could have written
got it.
HTML.
Okay.
So this is a way to open a new window from code behind. That's basically why this is.
Got it.
This is pretty cool, actually, if I can say it myself. So, let me see here. Why is it actually... Oh, come on. It's out of my reach. There we go. So basically what we have here is a map.
Yep.
We can click on the map.
Yep.
Can get some more information. And done in less than 10 minutes.
I don't think it was less than 10 minutes.
If you didn't talk all the time, it would have been less than 10 minutes.
You know me better than that. I will talk. People in the chat room are lovely. I need to talk to them. Come on. But he followed up with, but awesome.
But I think this is kind of cool. It was way easier to implement than I would have thought it was. I did run into a couple of problems, but it was it was easy to figure out in the end how all
I'm
of this
guessing
works.
it helps if it's actually truly native, because then you're already familiar with the Blazor code and things like that as well.
There were a couple of things that I did not like, but apparently that was just an option, and there were better ways to do it as well. But, one of the examples was like...
Hello!
There was, let me see here, where is it? The geo page. So the marker, I could have described the marker kind of like this syntax or something like that. It was...
and What's the difference then?
So this syntax is like the Razor page syntax, I think, or something like that, or web forms use this syntax, I think. I haven't seen it in years. I'm assuming that's the syntax they're using, or if it's something else going on, I don't know. But there was a way to use a render fragment instead, so that's that I think was way better.
Nice.
All right, so one of the things that I'm thinking of, now we're not going to do that today, but one of the things I'm thinking about is that this link should be clickable.
Yeah.
And then you would go to
and
the
icon
search.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you would go to the geo search.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
For sure.
Yeah. So then we have something to do next week as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we have a lot to do. Baby steps, baby steps. Doesn't have to be perfect.
But I would argue that we are at a
We're checking in?
in less than
Are you
10
using that
minutes.
as your check-in comment? Okay, but we
Commit.
did more.
Yeah, I did a push.
Oh, you already
because
pushed it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't push it, but I committed it because
Okay.
I had to
Okay.
get all
Got
the
it.
data.
Got it.
All right. So the page looks.
Not good,
That's what-
but better than before.
The buttons, we need to do something about those.
So Thindal's most used commit message is, "Dang, I missed saving the solution file."
So I don't know at what point you run into that, but when you're using SQL projects or database projects, you usually get into that problem because you add a file, but you need to save the solution file, and you need to basically go up in File, Save Solution File, or there is like Save All Files. So what I did was that I remapped Control S to be Save All Files. That way I always save that file.
Workaround!
Yeah.
Dragon Spirit Game says, "Mine is more like, I know I said the previous comments was commit was good, but this one really works. I promise." Yeah, that's it's kind of like with Photoshop files. It's like last file, last file. This is the final last file. Final 2.
Yeah, exactly. Like parenthesis 1, parenthesis 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually my layers. I do put them in folders and stuff, and I start out being really careful naming them, and then when I'm tired and I've done like 500 iterations or 10, it's just like new layer 1, new layer 2, copy of layer 2. I have many of. Code cleanup anyway.
Yep, been there, done that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Photoshop version of spaghetti code. Yeah, but mine is at least in folders and stuff. It's just the layers is, yeah.
Honestly, most of my check-ins or branches is called like Git happens.
No.
It is true.
No.
It is true.
No.
I'm not proud of it, but
Code cleanup on line 5, please. That's nice. There you go. Yeah, one of these days we will clean the code and definitely CSS. Well, one could argue if that's code or not, but that's not a discussion for today. And also the design and the UX and the accessibility. We have a lot of things to do still.
Did I break this before I checked it in, or
I do
did
not
I
know.
break it? It's broken.
Yeah. Why did you break it?
Oh, come on. There we go.
But it works, Thindal says.
It works
Worked on my machine.
for real now.
Yeah. On error, go to next. All done. Fix that for you. On error, continue.
On error, go to next. Are you VB? Do you have a background in VB? Or, I mean, what is that strange syntax you speak of?
That feels very old. I liked VB.
Yeah.
It was very easy and drag and droppy.
Yeah.
I don't not have a background in VB and ASP Classic. I saw your double negations there.
So, from my perspective,
Yeah.
we do have one more thing to do.
What is that? Is that rating someone?
That is rating someone.
Yes, let's do it.
And I think that Jeff is still still on, and he's doing like a Blazor workshop, doing all of these nice things, going through. I saw the start of the show. He was talking about how HTML works and SVG files and images.
He's doing.
And all of
I
that
think it's
stuff.
a 2-day workshop.
Yeah.
Not a Blazor. HTML and CSS basic, I think.
It was Blazor. I think Blazor is tomorrow. I think
now
it's
okay,
like
so
the
it's
basics.
a prequel today.
I think so, at least.
Yeah.
And they're actually raffling out my book as well.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's this one.
it is that one.
Is this one with a raccoon?
Yeah. So he might even mention the book. I'm hoping.
Okay, so Dragon Spirit Games says, I don't need to worry you, lady, but there are sometimes fingers appearing on the left of you. Yeah, I know. It's because Jimmy can't keep his fingers on the virtual line we have set in the camera. So sometimes I get extra. Nice. Okay, so let's go over to Jeff and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.